Oh, trouble, and it involves Hamlin. The championship points leader goes around, and can he save him? Caution is out.
It was that sequence of events right there that led to Jimmie Johnson winning his 5th consecutive NASCAR title after entering 15 points below Denny Hamlin, as we today attempt to rewrite history, taking over the FedEx Toyota Camry number 11 of Denny Hamlin with 54 laps in this race, taking place after Hamlin's spin, and Jimmie Johnson is well in front as we get racing here from this 2010 season finale. History rewritten from Homestead Miami Speedway. AJ Allmendinger in the 43 out in front, as you can see our Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Kyle Busch, but there's Jimmie Johnson as he is 15 points below to start this race. Now the points in 2010, really weird, basically 185 points to score a race victory. Meanwhile, second place would score 175 points, third place would score 170, fourth place would be 165, so on and so forth, until actually the points start decreasing in 4-point increments instead of 5-point increments. But we're not going to worry about that until it's crunch time. What we do know is simply we have a 15-point advantage to start this race. Things to pay attention to as well: laps led in 2010 grant you bonus points as well. Leading 1 lap would grant you 5 bonus points. Leading the most lap is an additional 5. You can get 10 bonus points for leading the most laps basically throughout a day here now, because you would lead 1 lap and the most laps together, combining those 2 5s into 10. But we are in position to, of course, do what Denny Hamlin did in 2010, and that's his first choke of many to come in the future. We can have a whole playlist of history rewritten just for Denny Hamlin in this little series that we're doing, let's be honest here. But we are trying to, of course, get Hamlin his first championship, and he's only been in the Cup Series for a handful of seasons at this point. Now is actually scraping the outside wall, but we were struggling early on to move forward. I was trying to be patient. As you can see, I'm still catching the wall even while trying to be patient. Jimmie Johnson, however, he was clawing his way forward, passing Kyle Busch, who's been going in the wrong direction early. Johnson up the inside of the 98 of Menard. Mark Martin fighting for the lead up front there with AJ Allmendinger, Ryan Newman, Sam Hornish, all up here in the mix as well. But for us, we've gone pretty well nowhere. Now, one advantage we do have right now is that we are saving a lot of tire saving here in the game that I'm playing in our 2003 for this video. It is crucial. You have to save your tires, and that was the one advantage. And I think if this race goes green, which we know very well it might not go green to the end, but if it does, we could have one heck of an advantage towards the end. That could be the difference maker on if we make Denny Hamlin a 2010 NASCAR Cup Series championship, or if Jimmie Johnson makes it more history and wins his 5th consecutive title here. But I was really struggling to move my way forward. Meanwhile, Johnson runs in 6th in that battle with Menard, Hornish as well, as we have jumped up to this outside line again. This is where all the pace is, the momentum, the speed. This is where you want to be. As you can see now, passing a struggling Tony Stewart in that number 14 Office Depot Chevrolet Impala. And we were slowly starting to get going. This is now lap 11, and we're only into 35th. But you can see the cars in front of us starting to spread out a little bit. The leaders, fortunately, haven't got too far away. And as well, the AI in this game, fantastic. Absolutely love racing with these guys now. I wanted to record this in NR 2003 because I knew it would be the best place for it. I was thinking iRacing AI. Unfortunately, the car is not compatible with AI, and I was looking for options, and I finally got NR 2003 back up and running on my newer PC that I got over a year ago now at this point. So you can see us now making a move to the outside of the number 12 Verizon Dodge Charger of Brad Keselowski for Penske Racing. 3 wide actually with Keselowski. Carl Edwards, who won this race in real life in 2010, on the far inside. Now struggling here today though in Miami as we look for about the top 35 running position here, and we just commit to this outside. You can see that's where the speed is, but you've got to be patient. You got to navigate your way around traffic here. Make sure you avoid potential chaos as well, because a lot of things can and likely will go wrong sometimes here in NR 2003. Actually, a shot to the back of the 55, not what I was trying to do, but look at this cluster of cars. If we can pass this clump of cars, we're going to be in great shape. But look at the leaderboard in the bottom right. Jimmie Johnson up into 4th. 15 points behind to start this race on Denny Hamlin. He is obviously the current champion right now as we speak, as we find ourselves engaged in aggression. 3 wide in the middle on the exit of turn 2, Clint Boyer and the number 33 Cheerios Chevrolet on the outside there for Richard Childress Racing. As we head down into turn 3, we're kind of using just the braking advantage in this car. I was really able to lunge into these corners with this FedEx Toyota Camry and just continuously trying to move down kind of through the center of the corner just to gain as much advantage as I could now as we head down this front stretch. But you can see battles everywhere on this racetrack, and that's not what you want to see from my perspective, because it's going to make it more difficult to move forward. But we're still clawing our way forward. We're into the top 30, but we're already on lap 17. We are approaching lap 20 and quickly approaching halfway through this race. There's Jeff Gordon right behind Max Pappas in the number 13 as we slide a little bit on the exit of 4, leaving the door wide open on both sides. Boyer through on the outside. There is Jimmy Johnson, meanwhile, continuing to move his way forward. This is a pass on the 77 of Sam Hornish that would put him into P3 as Mark Martin is right on the back of AJ Allmendinger up front here. Now we continue on our own situation now. Lap 18 at this point, right behind Clint Boyer, as I was really struggling to find a way around the 33, scraping the wall in 1 and 2, fortunately not getting caught in the wall, and we throttle up, get back on the gas on the exit of 2 hard, and we'll try to get side by side, and we are at least wheel to wheel with the 33, but we wouldn't be able to clear him quite yet. But we continue running this outside. But look at this clump of cars, 36 laps to go at this point, and we still haven't entered the top 25. But we've still been saving our tires. That's been the benefit. We've been off the pace, but our tires are looking good, and we're going to reap the benefits as this race goes on from that situation. And you're going to see it, of course, develop now. Nearly some contact with a few of these guys that I really don't know who's driving who or what number. The 38, I have no idea who that is. Same for the 26. The 35, maybe Mike Bliss. Not 100% sure, but battling with some drivers that, of course, should be back markers now as we look for the outside line. And this FedEx Toyota Camry, we continue wheel to wheel on the exit of 2, 3 wide, right up against that outside wall, getting the slipstream from the 7 Monster Energy Toyota of Robbie Gordon now as we dive up his outside into turn 3, and we'll be able to pass him as well. We're into the top 25, and you can see the tire advantage is starting to come in after about 20 laps of saving. We, however, have a new problem. Jimmy Johnson passing Ryan Newman for second place, and Mark Martin is out in the lead. Johnson P2 closing in on the lead. The problem is, if Jimmy Johnson gets to the lead and gets the win, he's going to score 185 points. Even if we finish second, it would be 170 points, which would be a tie. We would win the tiebreaker as Denny Hamlin had more wins in 2010 than Jimmy Johnson did. However, Johnson's going to get at least 5 bonus points if he wins the race, because that means he leads a lap, and that would be the tiebreaker, because it would then sway things in 5 points of an advantage to Jimmy Johnson. So we got to be on it here, because now we're thinking, okay, we might have to win this race now, as Regan Smith in the 78 into the outside wall. We'll look to the inside of him into turn number 1, and we continue to navigate our way forward. We're struggling here behind this 19 of Sadler, who just kind of finds himself wherever I put my nose. We're looking to his left rear, now to his door as we slide on the exit of turn 2. Save it now, but that middle lane has not been treating me kindly, and we lose more positions as we're just outside of the top 20, but we would get back past that 36 and to the outside of Sadler, finally passing him as well, and we would pass the 78 and now try to run down Max Pappas, Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch, who's continued to go in the wrong direction here today after starting up front here on that restart now. As you can see, a lot of 3 wide battling. The AI is just so much fun to race here at Homestead Miami in a game that's now over 20 years old, and yet it puts on this incredible driving and AI experience for the player and for the viewer as well. The DuPont Chevrolet tries to slide up, but now he's going to stay in that middle because Pappas catches the outside wall, but he would stay ahead, and we would get to the outside of Gordon eventually here on lap 32. We're inside the top 20, now into the mid-teens, and looking to the outside of the number 13, and we will enter the top 15 once we complete this pass on both of these guys, the 13 and the 24. And now into turn 3, continuing to work our way forward. Paul Menard on the way backwards. We are closing in on the top 10, but we only have 22 laps to go. We've been utilizing this outside line. We haven't been right up against the wall. I'm not that comfortable yet, but we have been using that higher lane, and we've have been going higher than anybody, and it is certainly working in our advantage. We've saved enough tires in the first about 20 laps of this race to where we have a nice advantage that we can use right now, and it is certainly showing. Jimmie Johnson about 2/10 behind his Hendrick teammate of Mark Martin. We continue to focus forward to the outside of the 47 of Marcus Ambrose, now 3 wide with him and David Rudiman in the 00 for Michael Waltrip racing down this backstretch. Jamie McMurray in the number 1 right there just in front, getting a draft off of him nearly into the back of him. Into turn 3, we force our nose up the inside, 3 wide. Allmendinger, who's been fading now on the way, he certainly didn't save his tires. He is struggling now as we now move past the 43 and continue in towards a top 10 spot into P8. How about that as we sail it off into one, sliding a little bit up the racetrack now, but unfortunately a lap around, one more lap around, Jimmie Johnson gets to the outside of the number 5 GoDaddy Chevrolet, and to the lead goes the number 48. He's going to lead a lap and set sail. That's going to be 5 bonus points to Jimmie Johnson, meaning that we can no longer win the championship by finishing second. If Johnson wins, he would win the championship by 5 points. If he goes on to lead the rest of this race, he would also lead the most laps and give him an additional 5 bonus points, meaning Johnson would win the championship by 10 points if we finish second. We still have a ways to go. We're up to P7, looking for P6 from David Reagan and the UPS Ford, of course, Fusion there for Roush Fenway Racing at this point in time. Back in 2010, we cruise around the outside of the 6. We have a huge tire advantage at this point now, and we just continue to work our way forward. Just below 7 seconds to the leader of Jimmie Johnson. We are the quickest car on track, surprisingly, after our early struggles, but at the same time not surprising because we were so slow at the beginning. We saved a lot of tire, and look at the run we get on the back of the Mobile One Dodge Charger of Sam Hornish Jr. We'll cruise around the outside of the Penske driver into the top 5. We have brought this FedEx Toyota Camry, but Hamlin is not going to have enough, I don't think, at this point, because that is a huge margin to make up with not a lot of laps left. 15 to go, and Johnson, you see the gap right there to Martin. Then it's Newman, Logano, now myself just behind us, Hornish, Reagan, Marcos Ambrose, and a whole bunch of cars there to follow. Jeff Gordon having a pretty mid-run here today from Homestead, Miami. Tony Stewart struggles continue. Same for Jeff Burton, who's had a bit of a rough day as well, as we roll through oval 1 and 2 down this back straightaway and reeling in our Joe Gibbs teammate of Joey Logano and the number 20, his second full-time season of NASCAR Cup Series competition, ending on a high note here in Miami, running 4th as we have just 13 laps to go, and Jimmie Johnson continues to have a very solid gap. I don't think it's going to be enough here. Unfortunately now, history rewritten. Well, last time we tried to rewrite history by using Jimmie Johnson's car to win at the 2018 Roval against Martin Truex Jr., and we came up short there. Will we come up short again here in the 2010 Rewritten Homestead Miami? Let's find out. We clear Logano with ease. We're blowing by these guys at this point. Ryan Newman led laps early. Now we're reeling him in as well. You can see Mark Martin. You can see Jimmie Johnson entering turn 3 already, which is the, of course, downside of things as we come to the final 10 laps. Johnson just crossed the stripe. 10 laps to go. We eventually run down Newman a lap later, coming to 9 to go as we exit turn 4 within a few car lengths of that number 39 for Stewart-Haas Racing now in their second season under co-ownership from Tony Stewart, as we are going to dive down into turn number 1. Look to that right rear. Newman struggling. We'll cruise around the outside of the 39 as well. What an exciting race this is turning into. Caution free, surprisingly, as well. The experience has been great. Mark Martin now has a lap car in front of him, holding him up a little bit, so we should be able to get up there to second place. But with 8 laps to go, Jimmie Johnson's about 6 seconds still up the road. We're not going to get there unless we're gaining almost a full second every lap. And I can confirm that's simply not happening. So even when we're putting up our best laps, it's just not going to happen. So we need a caution of some sorts, and I don't think we're going to get it now. I went and looked at the post-race replay. There was some moments that happened, but no one ever officially crashed here now. As we run down this number 34, can't quite get enough speed through the center of the corner to get to the outside. Now it's going to be close to 34, actually going to slide up in front of us on the exit of the corner now, as we're going to have to switch over to the inside. We got to get going here now. Just 6 laps to go in the season finale in Homestead, Miami, and Jimmie Johnson is still in control. We are reeling him in, but there's not not enough time to get to him. 5 coming to 4 to go at this point, reeling Martin in on this outside. Now we continue to kind of just keep it pinned as close as we comfortably can to that outside wall. 4 laps to go. A lap later, coming to 3 to go. Johnson hitting the line just about now, but it's not going to be enough for us, as we have now still got to get past this 5 and then somehow try and find, 4.5, 5 seconds of a gap just about with just 2 laps. It's not going to happen, but we got to the outside of the 5. Hold on, Martin fights back. I didn't roll the center like we wanted to. We're going to continue this battle, realizing it's not going to be enough for me. At this point, we can't really do anything now without a caution. Martin back clear into turn 3. We dive it down into the corner, keep it right on that black seam right there, and we just get the car to hook up. Patience on throttle, rolling through the center, hard on the throttle on the exit of 4. Here we go with the momentum down the front straightaway. 2 to go in 2010 season finale, history rewritten, but it looks like it won't be. Jimmie Johnson in control, and now he has officially led the most laps of this race. 10 bonus points to Johnson's name. The only way to win the championship is beat him, but he's taking the white flag. It's not going to happen. 1 lap to go here from Homestead, Miami in 2010. Jimmie Johnson came in with a 15-point deficit to Denny Hamlin, who ended up choking in an early race spin. And now as we roll through out of turn 4, Johnson's going to make up the 15 points to tie us. If there wasn't no bonus points for leading laps, it would end in a tie, and Denny Hamlin would win the championship right here in second position. But Johnson led 8 lap and the most laps. That's 10 bonus points, and he exits turn 4 with a second place for Hamlin. Jimmie Johnson wins and wins the championship for the 5th consecutive season by 10 points. The lead lap bonus points made all the difference, as history is not rewritten, and Denny Hamlin comes up short of his first NASCAR Cup Series championship here from 2010. That's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hamlin will have to wait a little bit longer. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day.